Do you ever feel like it's really hard to open up and let someone in? As if you have kind of this invisible armor over your heart and you just can't seem to express your emotion. It's just really hard for you to be vulnerable. I'm talking about emotional intimacy, which, let's face it, a lot of introverts struggle with. Are you ready to get intimate? Hey, it's Michaela here from Introvert Spring, and once again we are going to be talking about fear of intimacy. And why is this such a big thing for introverts? Well, honestly, I think this is something that every introvert has struggled with, including myself. And I'll get into why it's so hard for us introverts to open up in a little bit. First, I'll just tell you where I am, because you might have noticed that it's a bit of a different location than last time we spoke. So I'm in Urubamba, Peru. It's about an hour and a half from Cusco. I'm spending the next few days here enjoying some much needed peace and quiet after being in the big city for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm happy to have you hang out with me today. All right, let's go outside. Check out this view. All right, so for a long time, I would not express my emotions whatsoever. If somebody made me feel uncomfortable or crossed a boundary, or if maybe I had positive feelings for someone, like I really like someone or love somebody, I had a very difficult time expressing it. It was as if there was just this tightening, like a tight feeling, and it felt like it was the most difficult thing in the world to say how I felt. And it could have been something really simple, like I feel angry, or I feel uncomfortable with what you just said, or I feel happy, or any emotion. I just had a really hard time expressing it. And there are still times, of course, when I feel that way, but I've learned some ways to overcome this fear of expressing myself and of being emotionally intimate with people. So the reason why I think this is so tough for introverts is, for one, we have enough communication struggles as it is. I've talked in other videos about how we need longer to think about what we're going to say, and so sometimes people interrupt us. Sometimes we feel like maybe we're just not that interesting if people are constantly talking over us, and so that can make it a lot harder to have those more intimate emotional conversations. And I also think that, or I know actually, that we introverts take more time to get close to people. We just simply need more time to open up, to feel comfortable with people. And sometimes it's hard to know how much time is too much time. And how do you know when to kind of push yourself to open up? How do you know when to hold back a little bit? Because I know some introverts, they go from 0 to 100 really quickly. It's like either we're not talking about anything at all, we're not saying anything, or we're just diving really, really deep, and maybe we go too deep. So I was actually talking about this with one of my dating coaching clients the other night, a female dating coaching client. And this fear of vulnerability, this is, one of the top challenges that people face in love, in dating, in building friendships. So I was explaining to this client that one of the keys to overcoming this fear of vulnerability is to recognize that right now she might be like this, very, very closed. And the reason why being vulnerable is so scary is because, like so many other introverts, myself included in the past, she believes that to be intimate with somebody, emotionally intimate, to be more open, she has to go from here to just wide open right away. And that's very scary. When in reality, all it takes is just a tiny, tiny, tiny opening, just a sliver. And you don't even have to do it very quickly. When I first started on my journey of learning to express my emotions and to let people in, I started off by simply identifying my emotions. And then I would just say them in very basic kind of kindergarten sentences. So, I feel sad, period. That's it. I feel angry. I feel uncomfortable. And that's all. So it was really kind of a micro opening. And I think that's the important thing to keep in mind. It is vulnerability is not just pouring your heart out, expressing all your secrets. Vulnerability is about having the courage to say what you want, say how you feel, say your true opinion, and also to set boundaries. All those things are part of being vulnerable, and all those things I know are difficult. They're really difficult for people in general, and especially for introverts. Let's take a look around, and then we'll talk more about intimacy and how to overcome a fear of intimacy, as well as we'll touch on sexual intimacy as well. So have you ever had one of those experiences where you book an Airbnb or hotel and you drive up and you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, this place is horrible. Well, driving up in my taxi to this place after an hour and a half drive, I was like, am I in the right place? Like, I actually had the opposite experience. I thought I was in the wrong place because this hotel is so nice. It is way nicer than I expected. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. So something that I often think about when I'm traveling, which this year has been a lot, is it honestly kind of scares me how much time that I can spend alone. Like, I can go several days without talking to anybody, but there does come a point when I do get kind of lonely, or I want to connect, of course. And this trip has been a good balance because I had that introvert retreat, which provided lots of opportunities to be vulnerable and connect with people. And then I did meet up one time with the retreat organizer, my friend Melissa Renzi. But yeah, the past week I've been mostly on my own, and I have not felt lonely. So yeah, does anybody else ever feel that way? Like, it's kind of weird how much time you can spend alone. So we've talked about emotional intimacy and how that can be hard for introverts. But what about physical intimacy? Let's talk about that as I lie down on this bed. Studies have shown that introverts take longer to get physically intimate with people. So we're shown to be more monogamous and to have fewer sexual partners over a lifetime. And I know that there are plenty of introverts out there who have one-night stands. And to be honest, in the past, I felt a lot of pressure to become physically intimate sooner than I felt comfortable with. Not that I was forced into it or anything, but I just think that culturally, it's normal or it's expected that you become physically intimate with somebody after maybe like 5 dates or within a month or something like that. And to me, it's like, well, doesn't it make sense that you would want to be emotionally intimate with somebody before you're physically intimate with them? I mean, is that crazy? Am I the only one who feels this way? So I do think that for a lot of introverts, it just takes more time to get close physically. And if this is a huge barrier and it's a cause of great anxiety and you are never able to get physically close to somebody, then that's something to work on. But I think if you just need a bit more time, that's natural. And it's completely within your right to take things slowly and to express your need to get to know somebody before becoming physically intimate. So yeah, those are my thoughts on overcoming fear of intimacy and a fear of physical intimacy as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And be sure to check out my new book, which comes out next month in May, The Year of the Introvert, a journal of daily inspiration for the inwardly inclined. I put the links below. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, a like, and do subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading much more regularly. All right, take care. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.